This is Network 18. And you are watching CNBC TV 18.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Save Mumbai, You Can Do It. In just a few minutes from now, we'll be talking about a group of NGOs, including citizen volunteers as well as corporate participation, that are trying to get you to the polling booth.
इलेक्शन के दिन अगर आप वोट नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप सो रहे हो। चाहे मैम jagore.com पे जाइए, वोटिंग के लिए रजिस्टर कीजिए।
That awakening call is the brainchild of Jasmine Shah, member of Bangalore-based NGO Janagraha. It started out as 1 billion votes, found corporate support in Tata Tea, launched on TV as Jagore, and now depends considerably on citizen volunteers to spread the word. Jagore is a nationwide movement to encourage and facilitate India's billion to become registered voters. All you have to do is log on to the website jagore.com, fill in the details, take a printout and submit the form at the nearest location. And Jagore will follow up with your constituency officer and keep you updated on the status of your registration. Well, with me, Jasmine of Janagraha, who's the brain behind Jagore, a billion votes, or 1 billion votes as they call it, and Gundeep, who actually saw the ad, was attracted to the entire cause in the project and joined it about a month ago. Gundeep, let's start with you. Why Jagore 1 billion votes?
See, like an average youth of this country, I've always been disillusioned by politics. I've hardly had anything to do with it, never gave any interest to it. But it was always there at the back of my mind that there is something that I can do to make a little change in my own way. And then one day sitting in my room, I just saw this ad and it just clicked me that this is the platform that I need.
It is a powerful ad, we must
It's a very amazing ad. I don't know whoever is the brainchild behind it, it's a very well made ad. And it just strikes a chord with you, and I was like, this is the platform that I needed to do whatever little bit of social work that I wanted to do. And after that I got in touch with the Jagore team, tried to get an understanding as to what their entire concept is, what their vision is, and I could just relate to everything that they're doing. So then I got an understanding of what this is and told them how I could contribute, because I work, so I come from the corporate world, and gave them an idea as to how I could contribute and take this entire campaign forward. So
Okay,
that's how
a
I
little more
got
detail on the campaign. We know basically what it's about, but you're the brainchild behind this. How did this come to you a year ago? And what were probably some of the challenges in being able to put this together?
I was in the corporate sector for 3 years, and there was a continuous resentment against the quality of governance which all of us have. And after a certain point of time, I felt I had run out of excuses, and I realized that nobody is going to be doing, there is no magic wand, there is no Gandhi who might come and
Rescue
change
us
things
all,
for us.
yes.
And if you want to crib, you take the responsibility of changing things. And that was one reason why I joined the NGO sector, joined Janagra more than a year back. And then the realization that if change has to happen, and if the current set of political leadership has to change, youth have to bring that change. Change is not going to come from older generations. And in a democracy, there is nothing as powerful as vote. You can say a single vote doesn't matter, but numbers do matter. And young India is a huge India. And rather than just giving a call to vote, the way this campaign is different also is that we have actually kind of made the entire process simpler. As a young person, I had never voted for a long time. And that was because I always felt that the process is difficult. So rather than being lost in so many voices saying vote, 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 I kind of realized, and my organization also realized, that the actual challenge also is in the process and how difficult it is today. And that is why we created this website, jagore.com, which addresses almost all aspects of voter registration. And going ahead, we are developing this as a website which caters to all the needs of a voter, which means if you need to decide on your candidates, you will get to know about it at jagore.com.
That's where you link into Mumbai votes, is it?
Absolutely.
So that's an interesting synergy.
Absolutely. Yes. And the larger vision also of Jagore is that today the efficiency with which a banking service provider services you get emails, you get SMSs, you get updates. Why can't there be a voting service provider with the same sort of professional efficiency? So that's
a fabulous idea, because then you leave people with no excuse but to go and vote.
Absolutely.
Right?
And what we have experienced in the last 3 months, I think, is a testimony to that. In 3 months, we have registered 2 lakh citizens across India.
So Gundeep, give me a sense of how you're able to devote time to this project. What skill sets do you bring on board for Jagore? And how do you really manage the fact that you have a regular job like most of us, and yet you're able to find the time, the resources, the willingness to be able to input into this?
See, most of my work actually happens over the phone, as in I need to get in touch with the CSR group or the HR group of different companies and tell them, educate them about the campaign and convince them to endorse the campaign.
Sure.
So I'm able to juggle it along with the office work during office hours as well.
Sure.
And we have a meeting every week on Saturday where we get together and get an update as to what is happening with different volunteers, what is the kind of work they did over the week, and what is the plan of action over the next week.
Sure.
So it's not that difficult to manage. Once you have the intent and the resolve to do that, it's pretty much easy to do it along with your work life.
Jasmine, curious question. I've been asking everyone who's on the show this is, at least for me when I work, it's important for me to know what the project timeline is, when am I going to finish it, at the end of it do some kind of review, did I do well, not do well,
yes.
You need the feedback, you need to know if you've achieved what you set
yes.
out to achieve, right?
Yes.
The project you're doing is like it's like filling, this big sort of, what do I call it, bottomless lake almost,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So your work will never be done.
Yes.
How do you achieve success?
I think everybody who's serious about working for social change has to come to terms with the fact that there is no success. There is no eventual success. There will be intermediate milestones that we set for ourselves, and we happy that we reach there, and we are content that when we reach there.
Right.
But satisfaction, eventual satisfaction and happiness laying back and saying my work is done is never going to happen. And if you're aware about this, I think you will continue for a long term. I am completely at terms with the realization that I will have to work for 5-10 years perhaps in an extremely dedicated fashion if something actually will happen on the ground. But my interest and passion comes from the fact that this is the right thing to do. If India has to change, if our governance has to change, this is the only way it can change.
Gundeep, Jasmine, thank you so much, and all the best with Jagore 1 billion words. Well, it's time for us to take a quick break on this special show, but when we come back, we speak with a group of young professionals from South Mumbai. They're angry, they're very pissed off at what happened to Mumbai on 26th of November, and they're trying to make sure that Mumbai never forgets.